It is the Ace Michael Show biography, and this is a show that's about you. Some of my other shows are about what I think about what you think, but this show is not. This show is about who you are and what you're up to. It's all about you, biography. If you ever want to be on the show, we'd love to have you. All you need to do is send us a request. Just say, hey, I want to be on the show. I want to talk about mustard. Okay, we can talk about mustard with you openly and with no censorship. Absolutely. And that's what's up with that. Today, my guest is a fabulous actress, model, and personality. Welcome to the show. Bunny Stewart is with us again. Hey, Bunny, how are you?
Hey, Ace. I'm fabulous. How are you?
You are fabulous. It's good to acknowledge that you're fabulous. To know that you're fabulous is what it's all about. So let's jump into Bunny's life. So, Bunny, is Bunny short for something else? Like, is Bunny derived from a longer name?
Yes, it's the Latin term Bunniferus maximus. It means giant bunny.
That is what it is. And is Bunny your name you came up with, or is Bunny your name your mama came up with?
Oh, my Bunny is a stage name. Elizabeth is my name, and I'm named after my grandmother, so I really love it. It's kind of like my my special name.
So what's very Bunny about you?
Oh my God. Do you want to hear a weird story, actually?
Yes, that's why we're here.
All right. So I meet a lot of people. They ask me that sometimes. And sometimes I make things up. And one time at an event and somebody asked, so they call you Bunny after Big Lebowski? And I was just like, yeah. Doing other things. And I was just like, sometimes I'm just like, I just go along with whatever. And I hadn't seen that movie in a really time. And so he was like, really? He was like, so was it because you have a personality like her, or because you look like her? And I was like, personality. And he was like, really? And I was like, all right, and I was doing a bunch of other stuff. And so I didn't think much of it. Walked away from me. He looked back, gave me a look like that, walked away again, looked back one more time. And I was just like, and then I watched The Big Lebowski and I almost freaking died.
Now, I've never seen it. I'm new to I've heard about it. I never have had the time to see. I know something about some bowling going on. Jeff in a bathrobe. I don't know.
So it's a really good movie.
Yeah.
Let's just say, you would never to have the personality of Bunny. So now I need to watch the movie and just
I
see
know I have to, make decisions. Make decisions where they fall. So Bunny Stewart is Elizabeth Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
And Elizabeth is a cool name, but why did you feel like Bunny would be better for your show business?
People remember it.
Yeah, because I might not even remember. I probably won't remember Elizabeth even 5 minutes afterwards. I barely remember it now, to be quite honest. I'm like, her name is one of the Queen's names.
Yeah.
Queen Mary something. Maybe she's named after a rock band? Queen? I don't know. Okay, so you chose Bunny, and it fits you. You are definitely a good Bunny. Bunny rocks for you. And let's get into your professional success. Since I talked to you last, you've done lots of movies, lots of work, really interesting. And we spoke on the radio show probably, I don't even know if I was in Las Vegas at that time. I think that was was it 8 years ago?
My gosh, was it really?
I don't think we've done a show in 8 years. Isn't that crazy? See, now we're old enough to go, well, it was before pandemic. And it was before pandemic. I remember I was asking you about what it's like to be the bombshell, you know, because you are. I mean, I see the stuff that you're doing now, and it seems to be a little bit away from that demographic, and you've more embraced, like, it looks like you're doing like more of a assertive action hero type of stuff. Like, what's going on with you?
Well, thank you so much. I actually just rewatched our interview the other day, and it stood up very well to the test of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so thank you for having. But what I'm doing now, I'm doing sketch, and that is just a blast. It is so much fun. It is for this sketch comedy troupe set, and the writing is hilarious. The characters are so fun to play, and it's just a lot of fun. And then also gearing up for the premiere action film Soul Cage, and that is happening July 30th with a showing at Sacramento IMAX at 6:30 with a red carpet in between, another showing at 8:45. So tickets and come on down, all of the action stars from that film.
Wow. And so in this action movie, are you playing a character that gets to do a little action? Do you get to kick a little ass and shoot some guns and throw some guys around?
I wish I could. I wish, but no. I am a psychiatrist who's a little bit crooked, and I'm a psychiatrist to this actor that is Eric Roberts, and to the Leonard Zara, and I'm a little but no, fortunately.
I want to say, first off, Eric Roberts is probably the most workingest man in show business. Eric Roberts is in everything. He's got to have a resume that's like 5,000 movies long. Anyway, so I want to get that out of the way. The other thing is, how do you prepare for a role where you're going to play a psychiatrist who's kind of crooked? How did you even prepare for that? What's your source material?
Well, researched a lot of like psychiatry, and I just I take a lot of from roles from actors that really enjoy watching, and I just like take a little bit from that, and then it's like you bring yourself as well, and so just how act if somebody would be telling me this insane stuff. So
And so you got a lot to draw on from that. Has there ever been a role that you couldn't play, like you knew in your heart, like I'm sorry, I can't be this?
yeah, yeah. The only role that I turned down was that a rape victim. It showed an active attack, and I don't want to do that. But that's say no to.
Yeah, and that's what you probably would say no to. Like, you're an actor, and a lot of things that the actors go through is very much on demand physicality, on demand emotionally, and you're going to have to do it, even if they say, well, it's a simulated scene. It's not really going to be like it was in the actual event. We're going to, cut the cameras, and we're going to make it, a little bit more easy on the eyes to watch, let's say. But you still are the actor in that scene. You're still going through that. That's what I was wondering about. I was watching Game of Thrones again from the first episode. And I watched about 2 episodes, and I was like, I feel for these actors. Like, I don't know how you could even do that physically. And to have someone speak to you that way physically, because as an actor, sometimes you do a scene several times, and someone calling you a wench over and over and over again for 6, 7, 12 hours, does that grate on you?
If it does, then you can always use it for the energy for your character. So that's not like a bad thing. But in sometimes a role, there was a role where I played a bipolar kidnapper, and I was abusive. And I tell you, I just really had to, because the way I live my life, it's to not hurt anyone or anything in real life. Now, my characters that I play, there's no hold bar. I play characters that I would absolutely despise in real life.
Hmm.
But that took a lot of reset after filming, because it shook me to my core. I think we all have different aspects to our personalities, and dialing into that aspect of my personality, why am I so good at this? And it kind of creeps, yeah, like, why does it?
So I get the impression like there's things that you take home from the set, like you can't separate it entirely, is what you're saying. Something you actually end up carrying around for a couple of days with you, the emotions and the feelings that the character might feel, right? If you're really acting, I think so, right?
Yeah. And I have a lot of things that I do in life to keep centered, to keep spiritual, to keep grounded, to cleanse out. I have a lot of mentors that I can talk to about if I have any lingering effects, and it just comes down to, like, what is my part, and what can I learn from? How can I apply this to the good of humanity in general?
Hmm. Hmm. So speaking of the good of humanity, so Bunny, we all have had our ups and downs. Everyone's gone through painful times. What was the thing that you would say was the most traumatizing thing that you thought at that time you may never get out of this, you'll never overcome this in your life? This sucks so bad. But here you are today, you obviously overcame it. Life went on, right?
Yeah. Um, well, thank you for asking me such a challenging question, and I'm going to tell you the truth. And there were a few times in my life when I was in situations where I literally thought that I was going to die. And
Mm.
as I was kidnapped from a bar in Chicago, and I figured out that I was almost trafficked, and I did think I was going to die. And you know, I pretended it happened to somebody. That's how I had to deal with it. And then just recently, I was actually on a movie set that forced me to come come to terms with it. And so I just moved through it really fast, really hard. A lot of trauma came back, and I was numb for a lot. I was having, kind of a post-traumatic stress disorder reactions. And I just started talking about it. It took all the power out of it. So, and I think we all have overcome a lot of really hard, scary things in our own lives. And it just makes me more grateful to have the opportunity to live each life to the fullest every day.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And you have a super supportive husband. In the time that I've spoken with you, I have tied the knots. My wife and I are very, very happy together. And she's super supportive too. But what I've noticed about spouses who aren't in show business, they don't always understand what we go through, which is kind of the balance. That's actually good, because a person who really knows a lot about show business is kind of going to be a nit-nat in your butt about, well, why are you doing that gig? It seems like you should do the other one that pays more, and blah, 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 blah. And you don't want to come home to hear that. That's me. I don't want to hear that. I like that my wife, she does her job. She's got a great job that she loves, and I've got a great job that I love. And the two are not at all related, which is great, but we are related, which is good. So I want to ask you, so during these times, is it better or worse to, do you pull Mike aside and be like, hey, big problems on the set today, man? Or is that something that's like Bunny's compartment, not necessarily the family department?
No, I, it's so wonderful because I just I'm really transparent with him. We just have a relationship where, he's absolutely, so to make sure that I take things out on him, if I'm bringing something home from set that's really bothering me, I talk to him about it. And you know what? He is amazingly supportive. He's the best man that I've ever met. And I don't think I could do this without him. So
That's
really lucky.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome on any level. I feel the same way about my wife. It's really great if you find the right person for you. There are things that just become no-brainer. You just aren't living life alone. You've got this other person, and this other person just knows, I don't know how to explain it better than that. I'm not a philosopher, but I'm very, very happy that you have the wonderful relationship that you have. And I am happy that I found my wonderful relationship, and I fashioned mine a bit after yours. I think, I know a few couples in Hollywood that have lasted, that have a wonderful, strong foundation. What is that foundation? Communication, trust, honesty, all of that is very, very important. It's also important to spend time together, and this is not a romance show, but would you agree, like, do you make date nights for your husband still?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Date nights all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And sometimes like walking the dog, like if that's the only time that we have during that day, it's date time. And then I also try to make sure to really listen to him, like when he's talking. The way that I would really listen to him in the beginning of our relationship, turn towards him and watch his mouth move and watch his eyes light up, as he goes through events of the day or something, and just being in the moment. So, what a gift.
That is really fabulous. Now, I know Bunny to be an actress, and I know Bunny does some modeling a bit. I get the impression now and again that it's not really big on your plate, but you do it and you kill it when you do it. But are you also writing scripts? Are you also producing, directing, or what? How much of the pie are you eating, girl?
I'm eating all the pie. Okay, but not writing. But I'm thinking about getting. But I know that's a special skill set. So learn. Like some people, they're just they write a and it's real bad,
Right.
but they're like a writer now. I have such a respect for writers that I wouldn't dive into that yet. However, I'm still doing makeup. I'm a professional makeup artist, and I specialize in that makeup.
Mhm.
And also, I produced a movie this year called Diary of the Underdogs, and it is a kids movie with a really cute, like a lesson at the end.
Very cool. Very cool. Diary of the Underdog.
Yeah.
That's cute. That's
Yeah.
really cute. So I want to ask you a question about your acting and the world we live in, because I don't think people can ever underestimate how much actors go through. Like, if you're written into a scene and they say, okay, so you're the psychiatrist who's the specialist in her nuclear field, and she's the only one who can defuse this bomb. And so that's why she's standing in this mud up to her neck with these crickets right now, because that's the situation she's in. She's got to get out of it. Action. And you're like, whoa, you mean I'm really standing up to my neck in mud, like, and I'm supposed to act like, really, dog, really? You know what I mean? But people underestimate how much actors are being put into these physical situations. Like when you see it, it's still a person, in the mud, like the new Tom Cruise movie, with Maverick. They're like, oh, it was so great because the actors are actually in these jet planes and they're actually going this fast. And it's like, yo, and they're actually getting migraines and they're actually getting, you see their face going, you know, that can't be fun, right? So I wanted to ask you about some of the most physically taxing roles you've ever played.
Um, oh, I love that. Did you see that, by the way?
No.
I haven't seen it yet, so I can't wait to see it.
Oh, you talking about Maverick?
Top Gun, yeah, or Maverick.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I saw Maverick.
Oh, you saw?
Very good. Very good. Tom
Check.
Cruise is, you know, he's an American gem. He's in my opinion, he's not the world's greatest actor, but he is a believable, consistent actor. Everything he does is consistent. You never leave a Tom Cruise movie going, I don't really believe that they were shooting at him. Because he does it, you know. Brad Pitt is another great looking guy. I would put Tom over Brad. I would put Tom over Johnny Depp. I would put Tom over Ryan Reynolds. You know, yeah, Tom is he's a good actor, but I think he looks so good and he's so confident that you just take for granted that he's going to do well. But it's very hard to do what he does, you know. And I think of all of the pretty boy actors, I think he's definitely one of tops. I love Ryan Gosling, who's another great looking guy. And Ryan Gosling is a very deep actor, you know. I can get Ryan Gosling. I do. I think Ryan Gosling is slated for his big Oscar role sometime soon. You know, I think he won an Oscar for the LA movie, the musical. I think they won an Oscar for that, didn't they?
Yeah, I think you're right.
But anyway, so that's my allegory of male actors. There aren't a lot that do action that I really can believe. And Tom Cruise, I've seen enough of his movies to be like, yeah, okay, he's fighting aliens. Okay, he's fighting the mob. He's a lawyer. He's a jet pilot. Yeah, all those things and more. Why not? You know, could he be a good Batman? I don't know. That seems to be the ultimate challenge for good actors. Can you be Batman though? I don't know. So physicality. What physical things have you done in a movie role that you were like, oh my God, this is really taxing. Can I do this?
Well, I was broken rib when I played a boxer. And again, I was recovering from a broken rib when I played a cheerleading coach just recently. So I think that was like physically, I was pretty worried about that, but no problems.
Wow. And when you're physically going, I mean, are directors usually sympathetic of that? Or are they like, hey, I know your ribs are broken, but we need you to do this one more time? Or
I do not. I don't bring it into play.
Really? So you suffer through it, suffer for your art.
Well, so I'm kind of in how it comes out is on set. So when you talk about the challenging roles, or I'm up to my neck in mud, and I just look at it, I have never done it before, and this is flipping amazing.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. That's
Yeah.
a good way to look at it. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. So I was going to ask you too about, okay, all this crazy stuff that goes on in the world. Right now, we're going through world war, pretty much. We're going through a gas crisis. We're going through still pandemic. People are still hitting us in our inboxes about Bitcoin. You know, it's a chaotic world, man. So how much of that does Bunny leave to the side, and how much of that does Bunny carry into a character when you're preparing for a role?
So I am a very empathic person. So whatever's happening in the world, it's in my heart. It's heavy on my heart. If someone's telling a story, someone that I in person, I'm along with every freaking that story. So I have to be really careful about what I allow into my consciousness. And so I do not watch the news. I have to get my information from a like a science-based, like fact-based, like very cut
Yes.
dry. Yeah.
Trusted source. Yes.
Yeah, that's how I get my news because the sensationalism, it's not good for my heart. I've got that I've gotten it many times where it's like it's called world sadness. And I just have to be very, very careful about what I do into my I'm very visual, I'm very audio, so I keep a very zen position around me in the world.
Hmm. And you have to. If you want to, I hate to use the word survive, it's just the best word that comes to my mind right now. But if you want to survive in this world, you kind of have to take that approach. Like, not everything can get in because there's so much negative. Um, and it's interesting that, we haven't done an interview for almost a decade. Let that sink in. But a decade ago, when we did our interview together, we couldn't have done this. I mean, look at the technology in just under 8 years or so. Look how much further we've moved along. I think the first interview we did, it was like splotchy, jotty, blah blah blah. It wasn't as good resolution, but now this is so much better. And so, who's to say where they're going to be 5 years from now? 5 years from now, maybe we're making a movie on our phone and then posting it up on Hulu for everybody in the world to see it. You never know. What is the legacy that Bunny wants to leave? If people say, "Oh, Bunny Stewart, yeah, she's dot dot dot."
Just very genuine and kind and a team player.
Yeah, those are great attributes to have. So let's say that you get the opportunity to travel through time and you get to bring one person through the entire spectrum of human existence. You get to bring one person along, and this one person is going to follow you. Who's this person going to be?
You mean like, can you give me an example? You would?
Maybe you decide, here's a great example. You decide to grab Napoleon Bonaparte because he was a great leader. And he's now going to work with you in a production company setting. So you got to bring him up to contemporary, like, hey, Napoleon, we don't eat all of the bagels. We leave some for the other cast members. Hello? Maybe you used to do that in your kingdom, but this is not your kingdom, right? You need to, okay? On the bagel. Okay. I'm just saying. Who would you bring along with you as your new compadre from anywhere in time? Any character, fictional or real?
Ooh. Then I think I would bring along probably one of my fictional books.
Your what?
One of my I love to read, and what my favorite Marian Keyes, and she's this author with this incredible finger on the pulse of like all these different human experiences. So I think I would bring Marian Keyes with me.
Really?
Yeah.
And what and I see you enjoy that thought. So what are the two are you going to be doing? Are you guys, you hitting up the clubs together? Are you going to the beach? And like, where do you see is going to interaction with you guys?
I'd like to make a movie out of one of her books.
That's a good way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, how she got the insight, because she'll do she did these sisters trilogy, and each is like a completely different thought coming from completely different views on, and she took it and was so thoroughly that person in each perspective of the book that I would want to do one of her movies, her choice of which book she wants to make into a movie. and then just how she got herself like that incredible perspective, because I think she would make an amazing actor if she got that perspective like that.
Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Tasty. So now, Bunny Stewart, that we know a little bit about you, and we are definitely going to follow, like, subscribe. How do we find you on the www?
I make it really. I'm Bunny Stewart on all platforms. So Instagram, Bunny Stewart 1, you know, my webpage, Bunny Stewart, pretty much anything, Twitter, Bunny Stewart.
I'm sensing a pattern here. Yes, Bunny
Yeah.
Stewart is the name. Go for Bunny Stewart. You can't go wrong. So, Bunny, we got like maybe a minute and a half left. If you've got one quote that can save the world, what is it?
Ooh, you probably heard this from me already, but I was working for Benefit as an arch expert. This character, Gabby, a fictional character, but she said, laughter is cosmetic, so grin and wear it.
There it is. Hey, man, it's Bunny Stewart on the show today. Biography. Make sure you check us out, share and like, subscribe. You know the routine. You know what I say at the end of every show, and I've said it every single show, and I still mean it to this day. Live the life you love the life you live. Guys, this is not rehearsal. This is the real show.
I love that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ace. Thank you.
Well,